to my very first YouTube video on my brand new YouTube channel. I'm so happy to have you here. Maybe you came from ASMR Jess video, or maybe you came from somewhere else. Anyway, I'm so happy to have you here for a little chess study. I have a few things with me today. I have a cup of coffee, then I have my beautiful chess notebook, and I have a pen to write down my solutions. I also have this chess book. This is called 1001 Chess Exercises for Club Players. And today we're going to try to solve some of these. And then the last thing that I brought today is this thing over here. You can see that this is an hourglass. And this is my very special chess study hourglass. It's a little bit of a hack that I use when I study chess. It works like this. When I turn this upside down, the sand will run to the other side, and this takes about half an hour. And as long as this sand is running through, I can focus entirely on chess, and I don't have to pay attention to anything else. I don't have to check my cell phone or my emails or anything else. I can just dive into this beautiful game. And today I invite you to do that with me. So in a moment I'm gonna turn this upside down. Then I'm gonna find some puzzles in this book. I'm gonna put them on the board, and I'm gonna try to solve. Not necessarily as many as I can, because it doesn't really matter if I only solve 1 or 2. If I solve 5, I just have to do a little bit of studying and hopefully learn something new. Hopefully I will also get a correct answer, but it doesn't really matter that much. Just gonna enjoy spending a little bit of time studying chess. So now I'm gonna turn this upside down. You can hear the sound of the sand running through. And then I'm gonna go into my chess book and find the puzzles for the first exercises for the first chapter. And the first chapter is called Elimination of the Defense. So I get a little bit of a hint about what I have to look for. So I will put this here, and then I will set up the first position. Also need a white queen here. Okay, let me just check that this is correct. Yes. Okay. So in this first puzzle, this is the very first puzzle, the first exercise in the chess book. I know that the theme is going to be to remove a defender. And I know that it is white to move in this position. So I'm just gonna go to a new page in my notebook. And then I'm gonna write down when I have a solution. Okay, so this is puzzle puzzle number 1. Let's see if we can find a good move for white in this position. So the first thing that I notice is that this white queen here could capture the black queen. But then black would be able to recapture, and it would just be a trade. And if I look at the position, like the starting position, I'm actually down a pawn. I have 4 pawns. Black has 5 pawns, so just trading is probably not going to be that good. So instead I'm gonna look for checks first, because actually we should always look at checks as it should be the first thing we should calculate. And what I see here is that I have 3 checks. As far as I can tell, I have queen here to f3. That is a check, but black would be able to capture, so I don't think that's it. Then I can put my rook down here, but it could also be captured. And then now I think I spot the correct solution. If I capture this pawn here, that's a check. And once black we capture, then I can take this knight with my other rook. I will take with a check because the king will be here. And okay, so I'm gonna write down my solution to commit myself to what I think is the right answer. So my first move here would be rook takes a7, check. Then the king would recapture, so the red and king takes a7. Then I would play rook takes a5 check, and after b takes a5, I would be able to play queen takes b3. And I can just show you on the board what it is my solution is here. So I'm gonna take here, black recaptures, then I take this knight over here with a check. Black once again will take my rook, and then I will take black's queen. And I believe this is much better for white, because while black does have 2 rooks, I have a queen and a bishop, and this black king looks pretty vulnerable to me. So I think this is a very good line, and I feel quite confident in this first puzzle. So let's go to the next one. There are many more pieces here. That is all of the black pieces. And I think this is all of the white pieces. Let me just check. Yes, this looks very done. Okay. Okay, so this is white to move, and it is the same motive to remove a defender. Okay, so once again we can start by counting the material. So I have 4, 5, 6 pawns, so does black. We both have 2 rooks and a queen and 2 minor pieces. I have bishop and a knight, and black has both bishops. And of course, as always, we should look for checks first. And in this position, we have a knight that can give check both here and here. So let me just take a look and see if I can figure which of these 2 checks looks the best. So I'm thinking this check here in f6. And the reason I want to give this check is that black would have to either move the king or capture with the pawn. And then once black has done that, this rook here in d1 would be able to take on d8 with a check. And once the black rook recaptures, then the queen here will be undefended, and it will be under attack from this queen. And I think this works only with knight f6, because if I play a knight here instead, like if I go here, then the bishop would be able to capture and then protecting the rook. So then let me just show you this, I think it does not work, because if I take down here, black doesn't have to take with the rook. Black could capture with the bishop instead, and then the queen is still protected from the rook. So therefore I think the correct solution is going here instead. This is a check. Black can capture. Let me just write this down while I make the move. So this was knight to f6, check. And then g takes f6. And then in this position I want to play rook takes d8. Check. And black will play rook takes d8. And then now I will play queen takes c6. Black would of course be able to take my bishop. Let me just see if that's a problem, because I would be able to move this rook. And the queen should be stronger than the 2 bishops. And black is not able to play bishop here because my queen would just capture. So I also feel pretty confident in this solution. It helps a little bit to have the motive, to know that I have to look for something that is removing the defender. In both of these first exercises, I have needed to remove the defender from my opponent's queen. Okay, let's take a look at the next position. In this, we have to find the correct move for black. Okay. position, we need to come up with a good move for black. And maybe the first thing that we notice here is that we could, of course, capture the white queen here. But the only issue is, of course, that our queen here would then also be hanging. White would then be able to capture the queen. So I think really we need to look a little bit further and maybe also try to evaluate the position as it is. So I can see that we have 2 rooks each, 2 bishops, and 1 knight, and 1 queen. Black has 6 pawns, white has 7 pawns, so black is actually down 1 pawn. So we should at least find a way to gain that pawn back, or maybe try for even more, see if we can win extra material. Okay, so let's first see if black has any checks. Actually, it looks like black is not able to check in this position. We already looked a little bit at this capture. It's also possible, of course, to capture here with the queen, or capture here, or even the bishop could capture on d4. Yeah, there's lots, so this is definitely the most tricky one so far, especially because there aren't any checks. So let's look at this first. If we take this queen, I assume that white would have to capture a queen here. Do we have a good move in this position? We could either save the rook, or we could capture the bishop, or we could even capture the rook down here. Okay, but it looks like if I save this rook now, if I play a move like if I go back, let's say here, I am attacking both this rook and this bishop. So would white be able to save both of them in one move? I think actually, yes, I think white would then save the bishop by going here and also blocking the way for this bishop to take the rook. So I'm not quite convinced at this line, so I'm gonna look at something else. Okay, so this queen was here and the bishop was here. Okay, what happens if we take the knight instead with the queen? Let's look at that. If we capture the knight, the good thing is that if white wants to give up their queen for the rook, then the queen would be able to slide over and we capture. So here I think white would have to take the queen, and this doesn't look like a very good trade, but we would of course be able to take their queen now. And if they took our rook in this position, then I think this is good for black. Because black now has 2 minor pieces for the rook, and that's almost always a good thing to have. But maybe they wouldn't have to take the rook. Let me just go so all the way back. So maybe in this position they could take like this instead. then I definitely think white is better because both the rooks now are under attack. So, doesn't look like this is the solution. Let's go back. Okay, queen is here, bishop here. Oh yeah, and this knight was here. Let me just double check that I set up everything correctly. Okay, so it gives me another hint here under the exercise. It says capturing plus material. So this is a hint that I should look for capture that is winning material. That is sort of what I already was trying to do, but I haven't looked at all the ways to capture material yet. And now I see that I should probably start by looking at this move. Because if I look at this move first, I remove white's threat of taking my queen. So I'm gaining a bishop. And when white recaptures, they cannot take with the knight. Because then I would be able to take the queen that is undefended. Oh, it is defended but I would only give up the rook. Like if they play this, I could simply take the queen. So they would have to take with the queen instead. And is there anything good here? Oh, there is. Then I would be able to take this knight. And that is removing the defender of this queen. So if I take like here, white does not have time to take the rook because then I take the queen. And if they take my queen, I can take back not with the pawn but with the rook. And here black is up a knight. So that looks very good. Let me just go back and double check that I got the line right. So queen here, rook here, bishop here, and knight here. Okay. So my solution is first to play bishop takes d4. Bishop takes d4. And then I'm assuming that they should take with the queen to not immediately lose her. So queen takes d4. And then I will play rook takes b5. And after, queen takes b6. I would be able to play rook takes b6. Yeah, this was definitely the most tricky one so far. But I think I got the right solution. We can check that once the sand is all the way through. Okay. Let's take, I think we have time for one more. this time the clue is away plus material. So away, that is typically also what we could call a magnetic move. A move that kind of removes one of my opponent's pieces so that they won't be able to do their job elsewhere. So let's look and see if we can find a good move for white in this position. Do we see anything? In this position we don't have any checks. So when we can't calculate any checks, if there are no checks available, we should look for captures. Are there anything we can capture? Is there anything here that we could take? I see that this bishop, it's possible to capture that both by the queen or by the rook. And yeah, this looks pretty good, I think. Can you see what I'm calculating? I'm looking right now at rook takes here. This is opening up this diagonal. But if black captures our queen, it's not a problem because the rook can recapture. And then we just want a free bishop. So the critical move is what happens if black captures the rook instead. And then here we have a very good move. Let's see if you can find it. Because while we didn't have any checks a moment ago, now we actually do have a check. And I believe it's a pretty good one. I'm just gonna write down the first move so while you can see if you can find the right move for white here. So we played rook takes e4 was the first move. And then they played d takes e4. And now suddenly we do have a check. We can play rook d8. And this is what the book meant when it said away. We force black to capture with this rook. Now it's no longer protecting the queen, so we got the black rook away from that. And the queen is now undefended. So we can take on c5. So we played rook d8, check, rook takes d8, and then queen takes c5. And I think this is perfect timing because I can see that this hand over here has won all the way to the bottom. So our study chess time is up. But we can just check if we got the right solutions. And then I hope you'll join me next time when I sit down to study chess. But let's see if we find the correct solutions. Okay. So in this book, there is, in the back of the book, we can see the solutions. Solutions, oh yeah, it's a solution, and we're in the very first exercise. So let's see if we got the right solutions. Okay. So the first move was rook takes a7, and that is, I'm having a little bit of a problem with these two books at once. Let me just move these to the side. last one, it is knight f6. That is also what we wrote. Knight f6, g takes f6, rook takes d8. Great. Then we had the one that I struggled with a little bit, but we ended up finding the right move. It is bishop takes d4, queen takes d4, and then rook takes b5. And then we have the final one, rook takes e4, d takes e4, and rook d8. We got that one right as well. So I'm so glad that you wanted to join me for this chess study session. And we managed to solve the first 4 chess exercises out of 1001. So we have plenty of chess study sessions ahead of us. I'm not sure we're gonna go through all of the 1001 exercises in this book. There are also so many other things to study, like endgames and beautiful model games by famous chess players, and checkmate motives and opening traps. But I really think that these sort of exercises, that's one of the most important things you can study. So once again, I'm very glad that you wanted to join me today, and I hope you want to join me next time as well.